This is your Barbados Today Morning News Update for Thursday, May 30th, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. She is in pain, but thanking God for being alive. Tanisha Rollins is also giving thanks to those who aided in her rescue and prayed for her after she fell into a 32-foot well at Inchmarlow Christchurch last Friday. The 34-year-old mother of two sustained cuts, bruises, and a broken leg during the ordeal and has difficulty sitting up. Despite this, the National Conservation Commission employee, who was on the job at the time, says she's just grateful to be alive. She spoke to Barbados Today's Anesta Henry.
I give God thanks for life, thanking Him for my children, thanking all my co-workers who was there for me and who are still there for me, thanking my family, thanking the firefighters for rescuing me, the ambulance crew, just thanking everyone. And I give thanks to be alive today.
Well, how are you feeling right now?
I'm in a lot of pain, but still thankful.
A national plan may be announced as early as this week to help with drought conditions affecting the country. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has indicated that the matter is occupying the attention of her cabinet. She was speaking at this week's Understanding Risk Caribbean Conference at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society.
It requires that we have a different relationship with that most vital of commodities called water. And in fact, I have asked the Minister of Water, who is here with us, to bring to Cabinet only this week a plan to prepare the country for the level of conservation that is critically needed as we now find ourselves clearly in the midst of a drought in this year of our Lord.
The head of the Barbados Vagrants and Homeless Society is condemning people abusing their feeding program in the city. President Kimar Safri says some people dressed in work attire have been collecting meals prepared for vagrants and the homeless. Safri says this isn't good enough.
Because some people just greedy and licorice and wicked. That's how I see it. Personally, that's how I see it. Because if you are able-bodied, and if you are working, and if you have access to something already, it may not be much. So we gotta understand that some people out there really don't got it, or have a house but really don't got jobs, or really don't have this or that. But at the end of the day, that is why then a thorough assessment needs to be done on each individual. So when you do the assessment, it tells you if that person is in a place to receive or not.
Barbados is being advised to partner with other Caribbean countries as it grows out its medical cannabis industry. At the same time, industry expert Dr. Michelle Emmanuel notes that legislation will play a critical role in determining how much the island benefits. He says strategies and policies should take into account cultivation, processing, transportation, and distribution of value-added products.
And cannabis traded within the region is definitely the most valuable horticultural commodity with the highest value within its raw state. So, concluding, how will regional government strategize, develop, integrate formal cannabis economies surrounding the cultivation, processing, transportation, distribution? But there needs to be an integrated approach to developing domestic cannabis economies within the region by setting the policy and legal framework, by understanding by looking at the historical and cultural experiences, the business, marketing, the science, medical. So there needs to be an interdisciplinary approach to understanding cannabis business within the region.
Dr. Emmanuel, a teaching assistant in the Department of Life Sciences at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, was addressing yesterday's May luncheon of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He says as Barbados looks to develop the industry, careful research and testing will be critical.
Within the nostalgia value of growing cannabis within the Caribbean, growing the land races and doing the research to understand what type of medical value that these land races would have would be important to how the Caribbean will fit within the global cannabis world.
There's regional and international news after this short break. Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Over in Antigua, debate continues to rage over a 5% tariff. Promoters are being asked to pay the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights. We get the details from ABS News.
When somebody creates a piece of artistic work, it has the same value as the house that you go to the bank and pay a mortgage on, as the car that you would kill if anybody run into the side of it and you have an accident. It's the same property. If we understand that, then the rest of this conversation flows very easily.
He notes that collective management organizations such as ECHO serve to collect payment on behalf of the owners of various forms of copyright in different jurisdictions.
Law says that everybody's copyright has to be respected and paid for, and there are regulations that suggest that that allows the law to be enforced. And the regulations contemplate collection agencies coming in and representing its members here on the island and doing the things necessary to collect on their behalf. And I believe that is what ECHO is doing.
Christopher is of the view that 5% is a reasonable figure and asks those in opposition of the request to review their stance. He also reminds persons that there are legal ramifications should they decide not to comply with the law.
And finally, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday cut the number of cabinet ministers from 36 to 28 in a move he said will tackle the country's bloated government and improve efficiency. Half the new ministers are women, making South Africa one of the world's few gender-balanced governments. He announced his new cabinet after he led the ruling African National Congress party to victory in elections earlier this month. And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.